Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to Expectation vs Reality, the place that is kind of ironic in terms of what it actually serves up, you know. Really, you'll just never know if you're going to get a good or a bad reality just leading onto the post. So yeah, it really keeps you on your toes, and my favorite is always kind of the bad realities. But then again, I guess you do just have to kind of slip into a few kind of good realities just to kind of keep the hopes up. Alright then, so starting off with this mug. Wait, what do we got? Inject funny color changing heat sensitive light bulb, blah blah blah. Oh no, we actually have seen a few of these, whether it be on pillowcases or blankets or now I guess mugs, you know, just where the image is actually printed on the mug instead of the image being of the mug. And really, I think the thing that kind of gets me the most with every single time we see someone like this is just the fact that it isn't kind of technically wrong. So I can only imagine it'd be very difficult to either complain or to even just get a refund or anything like that. Because even though I don't doubt the fact that it doesn't kind of mention anything about that image is not actually the image on the mugs, that it is actually the image on the glass. And really, at the same time, I can't imagine that many of these things kind of survive, considering, you know, they're just going to get bombarded with complaints, and even, you know, it's just basically illegal. They're selling you a false product. So yeah, I guess I just never know how to react to this one, considering I can only imagine that it is somewhat your fault. You know, surely if you just dig deep enough, it is going to be somewhere, whether it be in the description, the free shipping, for goodness sake, discounts and coupons, whatever it may be, surely they have to have listed it somewhere where you're just able to be discovered. For goodness sake, maybe they've even written it in white on a white background or something like that, just so they can go, well, I guess you just didn't dig deep enough, you know, you had to highlight the entire page and then you'll find it. But hey, really, at least in the scheme of things, this one certainly isn't too bad. I mean, I guess that is something good about this up, is the fact that, you know, generally these posts aren't the end of the world. You know, this one is just kind of a stuffed up mug. Yeah, it's a cool thing, and I'm sure you would have loved to actually have what is actually on the mugs, not on your mug. Hey, you know, I guess at the end of the day, it's still a mug. You can still drink from it. You can still do all the things that you would have otherwise done. And really, who knows? Maybe they've just kind of cut corners in terms of actually making the mug, but perhaps at the same time, they've actually kind of made this entire contraption here just work within these tiny images over here. But no, really, like I said, it just isn't the end of the world. And yeah, it's annoying. And yeah, hopefully you actually reported this so you can save some other poor person from having this happen to them as well. But really, I guess as long as you can enjoy a nice kind of hot steaming cup of tea, then I guess you'll just be fine with your mug. BFF got this bear hat for my cat to recreate an adorable Instagram post she saw. That doesn't look too bad. Oh wait, we've got two photos. Alright, so here we go. I can only imagine that this is the expectation, and what is the reality going to be? Oh no. Oh, I mean, actually, it isn't too bad. It does look a little bit funny considering it's kind of chopping off the ears and whatnot. But really, I reckon besides that fact, it actually isn't too bad, you know. Maybe you could have slipped it over the head a little bit more, and then it would have kind of shaken a little bit more shape, and then it would have looked more like, what is it? Here we go, like this. I mean, also, kind of comparing the bear now, it certainly isn't the exact same mask. I do feel as though this entire face structure with this big kind of button nose compared to this one definitely does change the kind of maximum achievable cuteness. And hey, I almost feel as though this one is cheating, considering the fact that it is obviously a kitten. There is no way that one's a kitten, but this one is definitely just like the big, just piercing eyes looking straight at you, which is just crazy. Whereas really in this photo, there's just not much going for you. You know, the posture and the hat, and even just the kind of the lighting isn't working well. Really, what I wish we actually had in this entire kind of sequence of photos is actually what the BFF saw when they actually bought the thing, you know? Because now I'm just wondering if that hat fit more like that hat on the cat that she saw as well, and she went, oh, so it'll obviously work, you know, it's obviously worked in the Instagram post, and then you just get home and you do that and go, oh, that certainly hasn't worked as well as I would have hoped, but I guess that is still kind of cute. I mean, I certainly can't say how much the cat is loving it. Everything about it is just kind of going, please just get this thing off me. It's just so humiliating for the both of us, you know. You just look like an idiot because you thought this was going to work, and I just look like an idiot because I have to wear it. And really, what if another cat just suddenly walked by and saw me like this? I would just never have to live that down. But I guess in the end, it still has kind of worked, even though it hasn't accomplished the exact same thing as that. I feel as though this one still kind of works, and it's still just like a cat photo, so it's obviously going to be just a cute photo either way. And hey, really, maybe even just starting a new trend, you know. Usually people do wear them like this, but maybe you're just wearing like a high beanie or something like that. Soon you're going to be seeing cats all over the world just having beanies like this, and you're going to know where it started from. So really, sometimes just the hardest decisions require the strongest wills, and really, you just had to do what had to be done. A $3 gold sheet mask. Alrighty then, here we go. We have another kind of two-part system, expectation versus reality, two photos. So I guess starting off with this one, at least now I know what I'm talking about. You know, it's not just like a solid gold mask, like the mask or anything like that. It's like a skin cleansing mask, that kind of mask. I mean, really, I have no idea how gold is meant to be helping anywhere that. But anyway, you know, that is beside the point. But let's have a look at the second one. What is it going to be? Oh no, what the hell is that? That looks like someone just kind of poured, I don't know, Play-Doh or molten gold all over your face, and then it just kind of set. And then kind of like what I was thinking about in the first place, you know, just have a golden solid mask. But hey, I'm no expert on this subject, but I feel as though you certainly shouldn't be expecting that to kind of be coming out of a box, especially if you want it to work, you know, completely clogging all the pores with gold makeup, you know, whereas this one, as completely horrendous and ugly as it may be, I feel as though that one might actually do the job. Obviously, it's an expectation versus reality in terms of the actual design and overall looks of the whole thing, but really, if you're buying something that is obviously disposable, and I don't know if this is kind of a one-use thing or not, either way, I can only imagine that it just doesn't last forever. Or I guess really more to the point, if you're just trying to buy a tool and whatnot, really, if you can only pick four more functions, I can only imagine that you're going to want it to work instead of not work. And also considering the fact that this certainly isn't going to be anything that you're just wearing out on town or anything, it is just going to be an at-home and I guess on Reddit kind of thing that no one else really has to see. So of course they don't spend any time in research or I guess just R&D in general, just making it look pretty. I mean, at the same time, of course, they make it look pretty on the box, but there is no way that anyone should be expecting to get that in that, I feel. So yeah, really, like I said, I'm no expert, but I certainly feel as though you should know what you're getting yourself into with this. And hey, really, like I said in the end, if it works, then it works. What I wanted versus what I got. Alrighty then. Well, once again, I'm certainly no expert, so I don't really know if I'm meant to be kind of be picking this one apart, or if it's actually kind of been decently done, you know. I feel as though regardless of kind of which image you choose, it certainly would be quite difficult to get all the different colors in there. I mean, this one certainly seemed to be a little bit more sharp in terms of every single individual strand of hair, and I guess there is a little bit more technique involved in terms of actually making this colorful ombre and whatnot. But really, at the same time, I feel as though you just went in there to kind of get colorful hair, and so that's definitely what you walked out with. You know, you got more color than she did. And also, even though you do have a photo of the side profile, I feel as though you just haven't helped out the entire situation by not kind of styling it. You know, the one on the left, besides having the color differences, has just spent way longer with the hairdressers just getting it correctly styled and all that. Whereas really, I feel as though the one on the right just kind of got the color and then left the store. You know, you just kind of get that little bit of a sweep going, you get all the scraggly bits out, and then I feel as though it would definitely look a little bit more kind of realistic, or really just kind of like the expectation you had. So yeah, really, I don't know about this one. I feel as though there definitely could have been a few more things that could have been done to make it more expectation. And yeah, it's not 100% perfect, but I feel as though the one on the left would have spent like $1,000 on their hair, where really, and it's fair enough, that you probably only spent $100 or something like that. And also, really, you never know with these photos whether it could be photoshopped. There were just so many other ways that this photo could have been made to look way, way, way better than it ever was in the beginning. So look, even though it certainly isn't exactly what you wanted, I feel as though you shouldn't be too hard on it, because like I said, it feels like the one on the left is quite a difficult hairstyle to achieve in the first place. But really, I feel as though in the end, you can certainly still see that there are stripy colors in there. And really, if you didn't show me the photo on the left and you just showed me the one on the right, I'd certainly go, well, that's an interesting hairstyle, but by no means would I ever consider it to be bad. So I guess really, it's just a little bit of a perspective, or even just an expectation change. Olive Garden fettuccine alfredo. Here we go, let's zoom this sucker in. What are we going to get? We have another two-part system. So that actually looks alright. Obviously, I've never been to Olive Garden because it's only an American thing, and yeah, just keep it over there. There's no need for it here. And also, I feel as though out of any restaurant I've ever heard of, Olive Garden just has the biggest kind of scale and range of reviews I've ever seen. You know, some people love it, some people hate it. No one ever really seems to know where it fits in the entire restaurant scheme. But anyway, really, that looks completely fine. You know, there doesn't look anything wrong with that. So what are we going to have? Oh no, I can understand why people just either love it or hate it. I mean, I guess in this case, I can certainly see why people hate it, because that is nothing like that. That is atrocious. Just the entire thing looks as though it's not even cooked, you know, from the color to the sauce, the fact that it's not even on like a plate or anything like that. That really is a pretty hopeless excuse for a meal, you know, especially when you're expecting to get that. That looks like some beautiful dish that a chef or, you know, some nonna would make, whereas this one kind of looks like a 2-year-old drawing of this one. Really, I reckon what is most off-putting about the whole thing is just how the sauce is just kind of slapped on there, you know. That is obviously kind of been squirted out of a bottle, so they're making a Subway or something like that. Whereas really, let's be honest, you know, whenever you're kind of thinking about putting sauce on pasta, I'm just imagining a ladle that just kind of gets beautifully placed on top of the whole thing, not just kind of squirted from a bottle. No worries, you just send it out the door. And really, even though I must admit I'm quite a fan of actually eating it, it just does not look as good when all the pasta is just kind of clumped together. You know, you can see right there that there was at least 3 or maybe even 4 layers of pasta just stacked directly on top of each other. Whereas this one just looks so perfect because every little bit of pasta has just kind of been strung away from the other ones. But really, going back to the fact that I've heard Olive Garden being referred to from everything from like a restaurant to a fast food place, as disgusting as it may look, I certainly don't feel as though I'm surprised that something like that is coming out of the well. If you take it to more the fast food end, you know, just like a burger, it's been so obviously just slapped together and just sent out the window or out the door, wherever this may be. Unlike when a chef spends hours and hours and hours of time kind of making the pasta and just going through the entire process, you know, just putting in all that love. This really is just the complete opposite of that, because you can just see that there's just been no love in that entire meal at all. So yeah, really, I guess with restaurants, it really just does come down to the factor about what expectations you have walked in there with. Do you, in this case, walk into Olive Garden thinking that it's a restaurant, or do you walk in there thinking it is actually more of a fast food place? That is really what can make all the difference in the end, you know, regardless of presentation, regardless of anything else. How much did it cost and did it taste good are the two metrics that just have to be balanced correctly. And so really, like I said, I've never been to Olive Garden, and so I just feel as though I just can't make that call about what it is. Maybe I'll just have to do a little bit more research. But I guess really at the same time, seeing something like that on the menu and then seeing that in front of you, I really don't even know if you'll be able to keep your appetite after seeing it in front of your face for the first time. When I was 8 years old, I loved Pokemon. I still do. I asked my grandmother to make me an L kit doll, and this is what I got. Oh, you have to kind of appreciate the effort, you know. She has obviously gone to the effort to kind of make the thing that is actually quite a difficult shape, you know, to get these big hands, and I don't know what to call this beside the plug is. You can see that there has actually been some effort, you know, regardless of whether it's due to lack of skill, lack of time, or just anything in between. Considering it was something that your grandma made for you, I'm sure you're going to keep it forever if you can. And really, I'm sure as a kid, unless you kind of counted the later years as a kid, you probably didn't even notice. That was probably like your favorite toy. And really, even though it obviously fits on this entire sub in terms of, you know, the one on the left and the one on the right are two completely different kind of beings. At the same time, I kind of do just love the one on the right because it has so much character. You know, the one on the left is obviously a character, but the one on the right just has character. And I guess in kind of a weird way, it's similar to the last one with the Olive Garden. Even though it might not look the best, the kind of meaning behind the whole thing has come from the love and the time and the care that's actually been put into making something like that. And really, what else are grandmas for if not to kind of create amazing memories and just kind of little tokens of memories like this? Whether or not the thing is absolutely incredible in terms of how realistic it is, in this case it certainly isn't, but I don't know, maybe I'm reading a little bit too deep into it, but I feel as though there was a little bit of emotion tied to the entire title of the post. And in that case, even though it probably would have been nice to kind of get the one on the left as a kid, I do honestly feel as though the one on the right is kind of just a better thing overall. And I guess really just once again it comes down to the perspective that you had, you know, especially as a kid, you're probably not even going to notice that there's something a little bit wrong with it, even though it might have black eyes instead of white eyes, and it might kind of be missing its signature kind kind of Harry Potter scar. And also, I guess we kind of have to commend him because he's obviously gone on a diet since the one on the left. But no, really, as a kid, you can almost have it to a point where it's just unrecognizable compared to what it's meant to be. And it really doesn't even matter because the kids imagine you can go wild and it's just going to love it either way. So I don't know, it definitely is expectation versus reality. But really, at the same time, I just don't know if it's a bad reality. Followed Chell Sweet's left and mine right. Whoa, that has actually been incredible done. But here we go. This is our first one of the month where we actually have a kind of a decent reality. I mean, I guess now I just have to kind of turn on nitpicky note because there's no way I can let anything this good stand like that. So then let's have a little look, shall we? Obviously, we can see right here by comparing the pair that they have used half the amount of actual cakes. Secondly, I feel as though it's absolutely horrendous to kind of change the base to kind of do this pink frosting instead of whatever these are. Thirdly, honestly, the colors don't even match. You know, this is obviously a different shade of green to that one, and that one is obviously a different shade of pink to that one. I mean, hey, perhaps I'll just kind of give them a pass considering it might just be lighting, and perhaps they should have taken it in Photoshop first. But I really, like I said in the beginning, that has been incredibly done. To be able to create all of these kind of perfect whips on the top and then even all the ones down around the base, I can only imagine it was certainly a challenge for your patience and even just your skill. Or perhaps you're just shooting the Reddit system for a whole bunch of karma and you actually are a professional cake decorator. Because weird, I feel as though no one that is just an at-home baker is able to create that just on a whim, you know. To be able to just kind of whip something like that up is certainly no easy task. So really, it takes a tremendous amount of skill and, like I said, time and patience. I mean, I guess at the same time, perhaps it's actually just a testament to how good their recipe or at least their method about making the entire cake is. Because really, if just a Joe Smo in their random kitchen is able to create something like that, you're obviously doing something correctly. So yeah, I guess really it is just props around because that is just an absolutely ridiculous expectation versus reality. Like I always say with these posts, there just has to be a third panel where just kind of a normal human being just attempts to recreate this, and then at least seeing that one, you can definitely get your fix of what a normal reality looks like. Because really, if it wasn't for the base being slightly different, I almost feel as though you just got to spun the cake around and then just taken a different photo. I stubbed something a million times. Whoa, once again, we have an incredible one. I didn't even really realize what it was at first, but I can only imagine that I always get the terminology wrong, but is it crochet or felting or I don't even know. Is there any kind of indication what it is? No, I have no idea what it is, but I do recognize what it is, so to say. That was a weird sentence. But yeah, that has been absolutely incredibly done. I almost feel as though your one or the real one has actually been better than this one. I'm not 100% sure what it is about it, but I feel as though I just like the proportions a little bit more. I also feel as though the little panda satchel's been done better. Just everything about it has just been done to the absolute highest detail. So wow, really, I feel as though I just exhausted myself in the last one in terms of just how good that one was. But really, like I said, this one is just as good, if not better than the actual, well, what is the expectation? So yeah, I feel as though I just don't have much else to say about this one, considering it's virtually identical in every single way to the last one, you know. They have both obviously utilized a little bit of creative liberty in the entire process, and so really, I just can't fault them for one, being that creative while still actually following kind of a method and whatnot, and two, just being able to pull off something that is that incredible and that detailed. It's just baffling to me. And really, the same thing that I said with the last post still stands, you know. I just wish we had a third frame where we just got to see where normal people just belong. You know, just a little bit of real reality just thrown in there just to bring you back down to earth, because as cute and as cool as something like this is, it really just can show you just how untalented you are in some circumstances, you know, whether that be cake decorating or just whatever this is, you know. There certainly is some talented people out there and they definitely make the world go round, you know, whether that be the real world or just the expectation world, who knows. And from memory, even though it kind of seems though it has a method, I can only imagine that it takes ages and ages and ages just to kind of get every little bit of wool in all the right location. It would just, oh, it would drive me bananas. And so now finally, at the top of the month for expectation versus reality, we have paid money for a pro hair artist to do this to my hair on my wedding day. Oh, even though I can understand why you wanted to blur your face, I just feel as though we don't get the full idea of what it really looks like without kind of covering up your face. I mean, I don't know if I'm not kind of being OCD enough, but I feel as though the top is all right. I mean, I guess the entire thing is quite flat, and this one is a little bit volumetric, so to say. But at the same time, it feels like the top certainly isn't kind of the showpiece, you know. It definitely is just this massive amount of curl just going everywhere. I mean, looking at that, that is actually an astonishing amount of hair that she's got. So I really don't know how it works, but maybe she's got hair extensions. Is that a thing? Either way, I can certainly understand. You have to give a little bit of sympathy because everyone is always stressing about their wedding day. It's got to be the perfect day, so to say. And so I guess when you've asked a so-called professional to do something and they've gone, yeah, we can do it, no worries. And then you just kind of go, well, that wasn't exactly it at all. Really, obviously, like I said, we don't get a full kind of view of the whole thing, but I feel as though I could have done something like that, let alone I can only imagine that she could have done her hair better than that. So yeah, even though in the grand scheme of things, it is such a kind of a tiny component, it definitely would be disappointing just to not have that thing right, you know. Like I said, generally when you hire a professional, they can do the job. And so if the rest of the day is just going completely smoothly and that's the kind of the one thing that you kind of organized and that didn't get done how you wanted it, it definitely would just leave a sour taste in your mouth because you go, oh, it just could have been perfect and it just wasn't. But hey, I guess that's exactly what things just turned out to be, you know, just what you were expecting and what you actually get just sometimes just don't work out, sadly enough. You know, I guess sadly in this case compared to some of the other ones, it certainly would have been a decent amount of money that it would have been spent on the hair artist. So it certainly gets a few more ticks in that department. But then again, at the same time, obviously we can't see the face, but it does look as though the entire kind of outfit, so to say, just works, you know. I'm sure she would have looked absolutely beautiful regardless of the hairstyle they actually was rocking that day. And so really, I guess what I was going to say besides realities. But anyway, that's going to do it for the top of the month for expectation versus reality. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to do the YouTube button and links down below and let me know if you had a favorite post. Other than that, you know, we check out awesome posts all over Reddit, so make sure you check some of our videos out now. Or maybe even just want to consider subscribing so don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.